Some students never learn when to keep their mouths shut.
This is the Huawei.
What is a starting price?
Put your tongue away.
Run to me, confess your love, at least just let me say that when I talk to you, oh Cupid. Run to me, confess your love, at least just let me say that when I talk to you, oh Cupid. Run to me, confess your love, at least just let me say that when I talk to you, oh Cupid.
Can someone make a drawing of me? Because I want a new profile picture, but I have no good photos of myself, so I want you guys to make the pic instead. I'll even do a pose for it, here. Can someone make a drawing of me? Because I want a new profile picture, but I have no good photos of myself, so I want you guys to make the pic instead. I'll even do a pose for it, here. Can someone make a drawing of me? Because I want a new profile picture, but I have no good photos of myself, so I want you guys to make the pic instead. I'll even do a pose for it, here. Can someone make a drawing of me? Because I want a new profile picture, but I have no good photos of myself, so I... This is day 1 of trying to learn calisthenics. I just posted my first thirst trap ever on a secret account, and guess how many likes it got? 4! Does this mean... Can someone help me find my remote? Because I just lost it, but a new Young Sheldon I just farted in the meat section at the store, but immediately after I did that, a lady walked by and was about to grab some chicken, but then she went... Dang, this meat must be going bad. It smells weird. Ma'am, that was not the smell of the meat, but I'm glad you thought it was. I just farted in the meat section at the store, but immediately after I did that, a lady walked by and was about to grab some chicken, but then she went... Dang, this meat must be going bad. It smells weird. Ma'am, that was not the smell of the meat, but Why did no one tell me that when you wear grills, you get a lisp? Because I just put these in, and now I can't say the letter S. How do rappers sing with these in? Why did no one tell me that when you wear grills, you get a lisp? Because I just put these in, and now I can't say the letter S. How do rappers sing with these in? Why did no one tell me that when you wear grills, you get a lisp? Because I just put these in, and now I can't say the letter S. How do rappers sing with... I just got a can of for the first time, so let's try it. Wow. This really tastes like... I just got a can of... This is what's going to happen to the singer David, coming from someone who went to law school. You're going to jail, dog! You can't literally say, in the back of my mind, you died, and then poof, someone actually dies! They caught you in 4K! The only way he doesn't get arrested is if he changes his identity, gets on a boat to Ecuador, and escapes for a new life. This is what's going to happen to the singer David, coming from someone who went to law school. You're going to jail, dog! You can't literally say, in the back of my mind, you died, and then poof, someone actually dies! They caught you in 4K! The only way he doesn't get arrested is if he changes his identity, gets on a boat to Ecuador, and escapes for a new life. This is what's going to happen to the singer David, coming from someone who went to law school. You're going to jail, dog! You can't literally say, in the back of my mind, you died, and then poof, someone actually dies! They caught you in 4K! The only way he doesn't get arrested is if he changes his identity, gets on a boat to Ecuador, and escapes for a new life. This is what's going to happen to the singer David, coming from someone who went to law school. So to get my anger out on these bees, I made a video about them. And here it is.
To all the bees out there that keep trying to sting me, just know I caught your homie and I'm not giving him back until you promise to stop trying to hurt me. You have 24 hours to respond.
Now I know after first watching that video, it may seem like I just strangled a bee to get him in my video. So to get my anger out on these bees, I made a video about them.
Hey Raider, you looking to blow stuff up? Sorry kids.
Did somebody say just me? Emergency at 23. Ether's extended family. Cause you get a rewind. Nappies, coffee, rolls to go. Name states in a hot mess. No chili, it's an SOS. Major cook up, we saw ya. Let me call the reinforcements for ya.
Is that Craig David?
Ooh yeah. Every neighbor got their flavor. Gene keeps them kids in line. 3 little words.
It's dinner time!
Headsets down for some IRL. It's the OMG we all did smell. Have you seen Ryan? Think he's made a new sign. Tasty number 9 from the menu arriving. Zara's sorry, but she can't make it tonight. She's working late, she's proper chock-a-block. Yeah, right. Just me. Every neighbor got their flavor. Did somebody say just beat?
Would you believe me if I told you that making a few silly videos about bees led to PETA threatening my dog and showing up to my house to confront me? Now, I know that may sound wild and hard to comprehend, but by the end of this story, you'll see why I was forced to call the police and end this situation once and for all after what happened to me. So let me tell you how a couple of bees almost ruined my life. First, I need to give you context on how this whole situation started. It all began when one day I realized I had a big problem in my backyard. There was always a swarm of bees flying around back there because we have a bunch of flowers. And when I say a swarm of bees, I don't mean just like 6 or 7. No, because a couple of bees, whatever, that's fine. But it got to the point where there was probably hundreds swarming around back there. And they would always fall in the pool, so that would be filled with them too. And it was just a big mess. So to get my anger out on these bees, I made a video about them. And here it is.
To all the bees out there that keep trying to sting me, just know I caught your homie and I'm not giving him back until you promise to stop trying to hurt me. You have 24 hours to respond.
Now I know after first watching that video, it may seem like I just strangled a bee to get him in my video, but I can assure you that no bees were harmed in the process of filming any of these videos. But the first rant I posted venting about these bees went pretty viral. So I was like, all right, people like these videos. And I kept getting comments about the bees all over my comments section, so I was like, all right, let's make some more content out of this. And that's what I did. I made this video.
I told the bees I would give them their friend back if they agreed to stop stinging me, but it's been a couple days now, and I realized he's pretty cool, and now he's my best friend, so I'm not giving him back anymore. Sorry.
And then I made this one.
I made a video saying I stole this bee and I wasn't gonna give him back because we're friends now, but I think that made the rest of them mad because today, I got stung by one of his friends. I'll give him back, I promise. Please just stop.
And the response to all these videos was crazy. For days, no matter what I posted, my comments would be flooded with a bunch of people saying, free the bees, free the bees. And there were literally people creating accounts pretending to be bees that wanted to fight me. Or at least I hope they were pretending. But not only that, I was also getting some insane DMs threatening me if I didn't release the bees. But the one thing that was clear to me was that all these messages were satire. Just people leaning into my personal beef with bees and adding on to it. So I thought the reaction everyone was having was super funny. But apparently, not everyone found this situation entertaining. And one person in particular got so angry that they did something crazy about it. Because while most viewers were having fun with the bee characters and storylines, someone was out there watching these videos with a completely different perspective. Someone who saw what I thought was innocent comedy as something much more serious. Someone believed I was actually harming these bees because randomly, a couple days after I started making these videos, I started getting messages from someone who wouldn't reveal their identity. At first, I thought it was just another person playing into the joke because their text seemed so over the top that they couldn't be serious. The language was so dramatic and intense about bees that I obviously wasn't actually harming. So I didn't think this person really cared. I mean, who gets genuinely upset about a person that's beefing with bees? Unless the person messaging me was literally Barry B. Benson, it would be pretty strange to get this worked up about the whole situation. And if you're wondering what they were saying in the messages, it was things like this. Stop harassing innocent animals for views. You think there's no consequences for your actions, but that couldn't be further from the truth. So as you can see, I didn't have any reason to take these messages seriously at first, and I just ignored them without responding. But then they sent one message in particular that caught my eye, because the person making all these crazy love letters to me claimed to work at PETA. If you don't know what PETA is, it's basically an organization that says they're protecting animals, but in reality, they just act crazy. But they were accusing me of a way that was unethical and harmful to them without their consent. Which, what does that even mean? They want me to get a bee's consent to be in a video? How would I even do that? Hey bro, is it cool if I put you in a video real quick? Alright, sick, thanks. Do they want me to blur the bees' faces out since I didn't get permission to film them? Maybe write up a contract for the bees to sign saying that they're willing to be in the content. So this was ridiculous to me. And in my experience, I didn't know much about PETA except for the crazy videos that people make online about them. So this person sounded right in line with someone that would actually work there. But still, I was skeptical if they were telling the truth. These messages felt so disconnected from reality that all I could do is laugh. And once they claimed that they worked with PETA, now I wanted to mess with them. So I did what I thought was the obvious response, and I played along with them. I wrote back something like, "You're right, I should have asked the bees to sign release forms first. Do you think they prefer pen or pencil?" The whole conversation felt like something my friends would do to mess with me, but it would quickly turn from funny and ridiculous to genuinely scary after what they did next. Because then I got another message the next day. This one was even more serious and vulgar. And usually, when someone's messaging me online, after I respond back to them for the first time, or we go back and forth through a couple messages, they'll give up the act and start being normal. But this person didn't, because it went for over a week where they were messaging me every single day, just continually harassing me about the situation. But what really made me start questioning if this whole thing was a joke was how much research they put into their information. They would send these long paragraphs about bee behavior and why my commentary was supposedly interfering with their natural activities.
Thinking of getting your kids a smartphone? Introducing EE Safer Sims. Sims that help moderate usage and shield harmful content on any smartphone.
I don't know what that means, but this person clearly spent hours of research just to say why my videos were problematic. I don't know if they were ChatGPTing these messages or something, but that seemed like a lot of work for someone who was just being sarcastic. So the real question was, were they being serious? Or was this whole thing a joke? Well, I would get the answer very soon. Because the breaking point for me was when I responded to one of their messages saying that the bees were completely unharmed and I would never hurt any of them. I thought if this person was genuinely concerned about animals, they would feel comfortable knowing that I said none of them got hurt. Instead, I got back an even angrier message saying that they were clearly being harmed and I was just ignorant to it. That was when I realized this person wasn't joking around or trying to mess with me. They were completely serious about the belief that I was somehow harming these bees. And apparently, they weren't just planning to let it go without doing something about it. Soon, the messages stopped being about bee safety and started being about what I need to do to fix the situation. Instead of just complaining about my videos, this person was making specific demands. And this is what they were. They wanted me to take down all the bee content immediately and post a public apology acknowledging that I had harmed animals. They said I needed to donate money to bee conservation groups and never make content about wildlife again. I don't know if this person thought they were like the judge or something, but I wasn't gonna do any of that. So still, I wasn't taking any of this seriously. But what made me really uncomfortable was that they were setting deadlines for all of this. I'd get messages saying I had 48 hours to remove the bee videos or else they would escalate the situation. What does that even mean? This wasn't just a concerned animal lover anymore. But the whole thing that confused me was trying to figure out what this person's angle was. If they were just joking around this whole time, surely by now they would have given up the act. And they definitely would not have put all this effort into creating all these messages with this super specific details. But if it was a person that was genuinely angry about what I was doing to the bees, nothing. Would they really think that all these messages to me was actually gonna do something? Well, it did. Because this person became obsessed with stalking everything I did. They would reference new videos of mine within seconds of me posting them. If I shared something completely unrelated to the bees, they'd still find a way to tie it back to that. But one of the weirdest things was, they were starting to message my family members, who aren't even public on social media. I don't know how they found them, but it felt like this person was spending their whole day just stalking my accounts. Then they started bringing up details that had nothing to do with the bee videos. They knew what my backyard looked like from different angles. They could describe my house setup, even though I've never filmed a full house tour or anything like that. This person was paying attention to tiny details in my content that even I wasn't, and their threats became more specific and personal. Instead of just general warnings now, they were talking about threatening my family members and friends. They said they had identified people close to me and they were gonna make sure that those people knew exactly the type of person that I was. Like, bro, you don't think they already know that? Come on. But after they said that, now my theory was starting to become that the person sending these messages was genuinely mentally ill. And from everything I heard online about PETA, I still wasn't sure if it made sense or not for this person to work there. And I know what you guys have probably been thinking this whole time. Tyler, why didn't you just block them? Well, I thought about it. Well, it was like that situation where you're in a relationship and you tell your girlfriend to unfollow or block all these guys that are DMing her. But she responds with, no, I don't want to do that. Why don't the girls do it? Because they want to see what the dudes in the DMs are gonna say next. And I was just like those girls. Because even though these messages were super alarming, I didn't want to block this person because I was curious with how far they would go. But nothing prepared me for the message that made me realize they were actually dangerous. The message that changed everything arrived one night when I was watching my Netflix show. Shout out Mr. Robot. And I opened my phone expecting the usual rant about bee videos, but instead, I saw something that made me very nervous about who this person could be. Because the message started with, since you refuse to cooperate, maybe your dog Bo needs to learn some consequences too. Why was this text so scary? Well, first of all, they were threatening my dog. That's not nice. But second of all, I've never mentioned in any of my content that my dog's name was Bo. I'm like 99% sure of that. I've only even put him in like 1 or 2 videos before as it is, so a lot of people don't even know that I have a dog. But it got worse, because messages continued with details about the dog, like his age. Now, unless this person was literally someone in my family, or they were the veterinarian that we took my dog to, there was no way for them to know Bo's age. So how are they getting all of this information? This person was clearly able to find stuff out about me that felt too close. What kind of people do they got over there working at PETA? Do they just hire retired CIA agents? Because from the way they were texting, it sounded like they were literally in my phone. Which wouldn't be that surprising, because we all know that there's CIA agents hiding in our technology at all times, watching us. Like, I know there's a CIA agent staring at me right now. I know you're in there. You can't fool me. But can you at least do me one favor? Whenever I'm changing, can you please just look the other way? That's not something I'm comfortable with. We're not close enough for that yet. But anyways, the message that came next was where I realized I couldn't just let this slide, and I had to do something about it. Because they sent me my exact home address.
Oh, yeah, that'll go nicely.
Think about the recipe.
Think about the flavor. They're gonna love this.
Jeff?
I put paprika in.
Domi, oh, yeah.
Our new Dyson is the most powerful anti-tangle cordless vacuum.
Not just the street name or the general area, no. My full address. They described what my front door looked like and everything. Now, I didn't care if this really was Barry B. Benson. They were gonna catch the fade if they kept talking like this. Their message ended with what felt like a direct threat to me and my dog Bo. They said since I clearly didn't care about the bees I was supposedly harming, maybe I'd care more when something happened to the animals I actually loved. They mentioned they could easily snatch up Bo when I wasn't home and take him somewhere that doesn't abuse animals. The whole tone had shifted from angry activists to genuine menace. This person was talking about actually stealing my dog to get back at me. Keep in mind, this is all over a video about bees. Bro must really love honey or something. This wasn't some random internet troll anymore. This was someone who knew where I lived, knew what my daily life looked like, and was threatening to take my dog. Now they crossed the line. I started thinking about all the times I had been walking Bo lately, and if there was someone watching us while we were doing it. Was this person following me around in person? I had no idea. The worst part was not knowing who this was, because that meant I didn't know what they were capable of. Were they just trying to scare me? Or were they serious about hurting my dog? Did they actually know when I wouldn't be home? I mean, if they did try breaking in and taking him anyway, he would have just barked uncontrollably, so good luck with that. But I realized I couldn't handle this on my own anymore. This became a genuine safety issue, and I needed help. I needed to stop all this before they could actually do something that I couldn't undo. So the next morning, I decided to turn the tables and find out exactly who was messaging me. The moment I got these threatening messages, something switched in my brain. I went from being a little scared and confused to now I was angry. Because messing with me, calling me names, harassing me, tickling me, that's all fine. I don't care. But the moment you come for my dog, that's when you messed up. Because that's my son. I don't have any kids. I may never at this rate if I can't find a wife. So he's all I got. So I decided right there I was gonna find out exactly who this mystery animal freedom fighter was and make sure they didn't want to ever message me again. My first move was to talk to the police. And I know what you're gonna say. Tyler, the police ain't gonna care about someone getting random messages online saying to stop harassing bees, which you're right. But I have a family friend that's a cop, so I could ask them more personally about the situation. And I asked them what the best option to do was. After explaining the whole situation to her, she just said to screenshot all the messages and make sure to save them. She also said I should look out for any suspicious activity around my house. So I was like, okay, that's all cool, but between you and me, how can I get revenge on this person? Because they were beefing with my dog. I can't let that slide. But unfortunately, there was nothing, legally, that she could help me with. So I thought about what other options I had to get justice for this situation. And that's when I started doing my own detective work. Because I have a friend who works in cybersecurity, and I have no idea what he does in his job, because I'd never be smart enough to do that. But basically, in my head, I just imagined that he was Lester from GTA 5. So I wanted to see if he could give me any information on the person that was threatening my dog. I reached out to him asking if he had the capabilities to find information about someone, and he was like, yeah, of course. As if it was the easiest thing ever. Maybe this man was Lester from GTA. I mean, his hairline was definitely similar. Sorry, Jack, that was out of pocket. I shouldn't have said that one. So I told him about the whole situation, and he was fully down to help me out because he loves my dog too. So when I brought up that this person was threatening to steal my dog, Jack was like, nah, you don't threaten Bo and think that everything's just gonna be flowers and rainbows. So we started by me showing him the account of the person that was messaging me. He gets on his computer, starts his process of hitting a bunch of keys where I have absolutely no idea what's going on. And not long after, he was able to find the location, meaning the address from where these messages were coming from. So that gave us the first step into finding. We knew where they lived. How do we use this information to find out who the person in that address actually is? Well, once again, Jack starts hitting a bunch of random buttons on his computer, and just like that, he was soon able to get the name of the person who was renting this place. And there was only one name. And from looking online, it looked like this place was only a one-bedroom apartment, which meant there was about a 99% chance they were the only person living there, which also meant we found our suspect. The first thing I did after finding out this person's name was look them up on social media to find more about them. And I saw a bunch of different things. And it was their actual social media accounts, not the fake ones they make to beef with people who fight with bees occasionally. But the weirdest part was when I saw something online saying where they worked. Because where was it? Walmart. Now I'm no Albert Einstein, but I'm pretty sure there's no combined Walmart pita stores like those random Taco Bell Pizza Hut places you'll see in the middle of nowhere. So it did not look like this person actually worked for PETA. Now that I knew that, it made me think, what else were they lying about? So now I knew everything about them while they had no idea I figured any of this out.
Nonna, and your sauce recipe?
Heinz pasta sauces.
Foxy's unlimited data for social media is doing wonders for my social life.
I've run out of data, so I'm going through old screenshots of arguments I've won.
Oh gosh, you're okay?
All good.
The fun never ends with unlimited data for social media on Voxy Mobile.
Well, I didn't. My cybersecurity friend did, but hey, for the sake of the video, I'm gonna say I did. Oh, how the turntables. No, that's not it. Oh, how I tabled the turns on him. No, that's not it either. How does it go? Oh, how the tables have flipped. That's not it. Whatever, you know what I mean. Anyways, point is, now, it was time to get the revenge I've been waiting so long for. Something that will make them think twice next time they're threatening someone's dog. Which is weird, by the way. Who beefs with dogs? Well, I guess I was beefing with bees, so I'm not innocent either. You know what? I'm gonna stop judging people. I just realized, maybe I'm the problem. But I also discovered from looking up their information that they only lived about 2 hours away. So when they were talking about my schedule and being easily able to find me, they weren't lying. They actually could have followed through with their threats in real life if they wanted to. So I knew I couldn't just let this situation go without doing something back. And now that I knew exactly where they worked and lived too, I wasn't gonna just let this slide. So what did I do? Well, they threatened my pets, they stalked me, and they harassed me. Obviously, cops don't really care about any of that unless you actually have some real evidence. But telling this PETA impersonator that I had a bunch of information that could get them arrested was my plan. All these messages they made to me sounded like threats, and I was gonna use that against them. So now it was time to have a conversation that would end this harassment once and for all. I sent them the message that showed the tables have finally turned. Yes, I got it right that time. Sorry, that was a bit dramatic. But my text to them was simply their real name and their address. And then I said, I think we need to have a real conversation about your harassment on me. I wanted them to know I did the same research that they thought only they were capable of. Right away, their response came within minutes, and their tone immediately switched up. Gone was the confident animal rights lover that was making threats and demands to me. Now, I was getting panicked messages asking how I got this information, and they were begging me not to share it publicly. At first, they tried acting like they had no idea who that person was and that it wasn't them, but I had screenshots